Get Rich Slow with John Wolf. Hey, today I want to talk to you about the basics of investing. Now, you need to at least have a small emergency fund before you're doing this, but once you are making enough money that you are thinking about being able to buy a house or thinking about doing other basic investments. Okay, so basically, let's talk about net worth for a second because it's really important. So there's two pieces of your net worth, and your net worth is just all of the monies you have and the worth of the stuff that you own if you sell it quickly versus how much do you owe on all of those things. So important term comes out of that, which is cash net worth. What's the big difference between net worth and cash net worth? Well, one piece is you may have a guitar or some like random bike fixing tools that have worth, but they're not really going to convert into cash very well. And most of them are so small that you could honestly just forget about them. Like I spent, I think, over $100 for that, but I'd be surprised if I could get 20 bucks for it. Not that it isn't worth it for me. But the big thing is the home. So if you have a home and you could sell it in a couple weeks for $500,000 and you only owe $300,000, then that's $200,000 positive towards your net worth. But it's not cash net worth because you can't turn it around fast enough. So while I am huge into investing in property, and there's some really great reasons to do that, especially because of how good the tax incentives are and how good the leverage is, today I'm mostly going to be talking about the cash net worth side. So what is that? That is index funds, mutual funds, bonds, stocks, and also how you do it in your retirement. So part of this is going to depend on how you are employed and how old you are. But let's just assume that you're starting investing about when I was starting investing, which was really while I was in college. I actually managed to make a decent income. Not a very big income, but the first thing that you should try to fill up as a younger person, and this is income amount dependent, is your Roth IRA. Well, what's a Roth IRA? Well, basically, if you're not making a ton of money, like well under $200,000 income, and you would like to save money towards your retirement, there is something called a Roth IRA you can do. And basically, you pay the normal income taxes, and then once that money's in your bank account, you can go to America's Funds or Vanguard or a whole bunch of other, and you can invest in a Roth IRA. And I believe you are allowed as an individual to only invest $5,500 a year, which as a 20-year-old was a lot to me. And it's not a lot towards the retirement fund really, but if you're doing that when you're 20 and you don't need to take the money out until you're 70, it's very attractive. And what's important about the Roth IRA, and I'm not a tax guy, but here's my understanding, you pay taxes up front, but you don't pay taxes on any of the gain in the money as long as you take it in retirement years for retirement reasons. And that's a lot of money. You know, if you average 7% a year for 40 years, the amount of money that you could be taxed on is going to be greater than the amount that you originally put in, which is awesome. Once you get to the point where you are making a decent amount of money, so especially the percentage of your income that gets taxed is a lot higher, you might want to switch to a 401k, and especially at a lot of employers, sometimes they let you do both, but the 401k is usually matched at most good employers. So at mine and my recent employers, it's been something like, you know, up to 6% of your gross paycheck you can put in, and if you put in 6%, they'll put in another 2%. That's great, and especially if you're doing the 401k, as your income goes up, that you're not taxed on the income out of your paycheck. So if you make, let's call it $120,000, but you put $20,000 as a married couple into your 401k, you only pay taxes on the $100,000. Now the rub is going to be that when you take that money out as income after you're, I think it's 59 and a half, you pay taxes on it then, but you only pay taxes on it as if it was income then. So if you're not working anymore and you're like, I don't know, only paying yourself 60 grand a year, you only pay taxes as if you were someone making 60 grand a year. Does that make sense? Anyways, what do I actually put my money in myself? Well, I am a pretty darn risk-averse person with my cash net worth. I just want to guarantee that that cash is always at least there, plus or minus some fluctuations. So I'll tell you what I did recently. At the end of March, big economic downturn, big stimulus checks coming to everybody. My first thought was, well, this is going to drive inflation. And what inflation is, basically there's just more money around, so you can't get as much stuff with the money. So I was like, where could I put my money to protect myself against inflation? Lots of people say gold. I am not a fan at all of gold. And here's what I mean. The actual value of a lump of gold will never increase. It has so many grams, it has so many valence electrons, it is a physical thing that does not change. Whereas if you invest in a company and everybody's income goes up, so everybody's spending more money, so everybody's buying more of the company's thing, and then the company itself can actually grow on that, that's a real investment to me. So I do super boring myself index funds and a couple big mutual funds. One of my favorites is just the Vanguard small, medium, and large cap index funds. I can tell you that from the beginning of April through the end of May, I put $1,000 in every trading day. I actually took that from my home equity line, and I am up over $10,000 in that to date anyways. And I could take that money out now, take it as income, pay normal income taxes on it, wouldn't be a big deal. Or, perhaps I could put it towards my wife, let her put some of that money in her Roth IRA, things like that. But that's the cash net worth side. And then on the other side, you should be growing your property net worth. And that's what I'm doing as well. So, own a fourplex, own a home, maybe own a home here in the near future, although it's a great time to be a home buyer as a first-time home buyer, and it's a great time to lock in some great interest rates and refinance. In my area, homes that I want, the prices are kind of inflated. But I'm hoping that will simmer down, and maybe I can get a good timing on that in the future. But anyways, a fourplex gaining value over time, a single family home gaining value over time, and really the fourplex, the renters paying the mortgage. I don't think of it as cash flow at all. I just think of it as investing up cash net worth. And again, every single door you own, you should have $10,000 as your emergency fund for each rental. And so for fourplex, that means $40,000. But you can put those in very sensible investments, I think. You should be keeping some of it in cash, because basically the only way you lose the get rich slow game is if you have to sell a bunch of your properties in the first downturn that hits you. Because it's usually the first one. You're usually very well insulated by the time it's the second and third. But anyways, if you have any questions, please comment, smash that like button, subscribe, share this with a friend. Have an awesome day. Bye.